This podcast is brought to you by Most Valuable Podcasts, saving your day from boredom with the best podcasting entertainment.
What's up? Real MVPs, Ricky Widmer here, and welcome in episode 3 of Heel Talk. I am joined, as I always am, by my tag team partner, my heel compadre, Soapy Muffin. Soapy, how we doing today?
I'm doing really good. How are you doing?
I hope you're doing better than me because, so I'm throwing a curveball at you to start this. Usually,
here we go again.
Usually I tell you and JD or you and Dave, like, hey, during the pre-show, I'm gonna throw you something that you should be unexpecting for. Actually, also after this, like, we're gonna decide live if this is a audio only intro or a safe for YouTube intro, because it is kind of personal. But yeah, I'm dealing with hemorrhoids right now, Soapy. Or I should say,
please don't show me your butthole. Please don't.
No, we're not going.
Oh, the second you said audio only or safe for YouTube, I got real scared. I got hemorrhoids.
Well, I was thinking about that today. I got one singular hemorrhoid. I'm not gonna say the plural, but like, I'm sitting there today as I'm taking a shower. I'm like, you know what? I'm going to mention it because, you know, that's like me to mention this stuff. And I was sitting there and I'm going, since it's going to be in the first minute of the show, does YouTube frown upon, do advertisers frown upon talking about hemorrhoids? Does that go against YouTube guidelines?
I don't think so. I mean, YouTube's got weird guidelines. Like, some of the stuff that doesn't get demonetized is like, how is that not? But then someone saying the F word the first 30 seconds, advertisers like, no. Look, brother, that's too much.
Listen here, brother.
Every advertiser turns into Hulk Hogan. Listen here, brother. Who said the F word? That's not on your vitamins and prayers, brother.
I mean, they should probably not turn into Hulk Hogan because are we talking about early Hogan, late Hogan, like
all Hogan? All Hogan's the same.
All Hogan, all the TNA Hogan, the best Hogan.
Oh God, no! That's the worst Hogan. That's the one where he couldn't say Park right. Have you ever seen that segment? Have I?
No, I was not. I'm not a TNA guy. I threw it out there because you're a TNA guy.
So at one point, there's a faction in TNA, in fact, called Aces and Eights, and they kidnap Abyss. But by this point, he's not Abyss on screen. He's like his actual name. It's like Park something. It's like something Park.
Mm-hmm.
The whole segment, Hulk Hogan can't say his name right. Like they're like in an interrogation room. He's like, "Give us back Park's brother. Where's Parks? Give me Parks, brother." It's just like, it's that over and over again. It's like, Hogan, say his name right. It's not hard.
But yeah, I've been dealing with a little bit. So you might see me during the show shift a little bit. It's because right now my butt is really numb because I'm for all my Austin Powers watchers out there, I've got Operation Ass Cream going on here. So feels very numb down there, but yeah.
Just remember, Ricky, use the Schwartz.
Yeah, may the Schwartz be with you. We watched that movie the other day. It's a fucking great movie. Oh, there's one. I didn't have my notepad out in front of me. I wasn't ready for it, Soapy.
Ladies and gentlemen, I wasn't the first.
You weren't the first this time.
At this time.
But we got a jam-packed show for you guys today. We're going to be talking about, a little bit of a mix-up of, not mix-up, but like usually what the name of the podcast is what we talk about first. Also, if it's your first Heel Talk, welcome in if you made it in this 3 minutes of our opening. We've got some great topics. Going to be talking about Jade Cargill, going to be talking about Edge, maybe going to AEW, looking closer and closer by the minute it seems. And then what the video is mainly about, Soapy is we're going to look at Soapy's fantasy booking of how he takes the title off of MJF, because right now he's got it. Eventually MJF has got to lose it. Soapy's got an idea and we're going to run through that. But before we get into everything, make sure if you're not Join the Discord. Great conversations happening every day, especially in that wrestling chat. You can join that for free down below. If you want to support us, get the podcast a few days early like our patrons do. You can go ahead and check that out down below as well. We're on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, so you can go ahead and listen to us there. If you're not a YouTube person, also if you're on Apple Podcasts, rate and give us those 5 stars. As Soapy, I'm going to ask you, JD and JD, I think, had an answer, but I'll be completely honest. Nothing against you, JD, but I trust Soapy's opinion here a little bit more because you're a Spotify podcast user. Do they have ratings on Spotify?
I don't think so.
Yeah, that's what I thought. I just didn't know.
I think they mostly just go off of like monthly listeners. I think that's what they go off of.
Okay, then JD was right too. JD said he said they have reviews, but he said you got to listen to the whole thing, which I was like, but that's not a review. That's just listening.
Yeah, I was going to say
the
that's
podcast
the whole
on
episode.
Spotify. But if you're on Apple Podcasts, give us that 5-star, write a review down below. Thank you to Sam, who has gone ahead and rated both the Heel Talk and Draft Room 5 stars, giving us that 5-star Meltzer rating. Because, we're a 5-star podcast. I don't care what Dave Meltzer has to say about it. But Soapy,
they do actually have ratings. Sorry about that.
Do we? Do we have more than one?
Yeah.
We got more than one?
Oh, yeah. I mean, they do have ratings on here.
Oh, okay. You're saying Spotify has ratings.
Yeah.
Okay, then rate us on Spotify, too.
I can check.
The last Apple podcast, I saw that Sam rated it, so that's why I wanted to give Sam a throw out, because he was numero uno on both of us. Gave us that 5-star ratings. But I didn't know if we had any new ones. But let's jump into the first thing, Soapy, and that is Jade Cargill. It's official. She's WWE bound. They announced it this week, actually, as we were recording on Thursday this week. And they had a video of her walking into the Performance Center. There's been the press release where Jade Cargill is WWE bound, WWE confirmed. But there's also a tweet that I saw. This is from Wrestling WCC, Wrestling World CC. Jade Cargill knows what brand she'll be on, but says fans will have to tune in to find out. So the first thing I'm going to ask you is, if you were Triple H, you're Paul Levesque, are you putting her on Raw? Are you putting her on SmackDown? Or are you making her challenge Becky Lynch for the NXT title on NXT?
Now, if I was Triple H, now me and Triple H are thinking on different wavelengths. Because I've talked about it a little bit in the Discord.
Yeah.
Of, like, to me, I don't think Jade should jump right to the main roster. Me personally, now mind you, this is as a person who watched her in AEW. She's not bad, but the whole thing is you can tell that, like, she's still kind of green. She's still getting used to it. That's kind of why she had shorter matches.
Yeah.
Because it was, like, she would make little mistakes here and there. And mind you, everyone in wrestling makes mistakes. I'm not singling her out just on that. But, like, to me, I would put her on NXT simply because of the fact of, one, it allows her to kind of, make a little bit more mistakes, learn from it, especially with the fact of, let's be real here, NXT has the best women's division in WWE, like, right now, and that's with people being hurt. Like, it's miles better in NXT, and, like, to me, I think that would be a really good spot for her to grow, especially because then you have Becky as the final, as the final boss of it, but realistically, she's going to the main roster right away. She's probably going to go to Raw. And to be completely honest, her first feud's probably going to be against Nia Jax, if I'm being completely honest.
Now, I didn't catch Raw this week. Have they teased that at all? Is that what they're teasing? Or is it just based off of, like you mentioned pre-show to me, where it was like, oh, Nia keeps dropping that she's the baddest, and, like, she's hinting at it that way.
Yeah, I think that's how they're doing it, because they haven't mentioned... The only time they've mentioned Jade Cargill, or at least WWE, is, like, just on their YouTube, on their Twitter, which, can I just point out, I love X's wrestling community, because it is so funny, because there was the video of her walking across the NXT parking lot, someone's like, I can't believe you'd endanger her career so early on, having her walk through that death trap.
That is a death trap. You can't go in the NXT parking lot at all.
All I'm saying, Roderick Strong literally died in the parking lot. That's all I'm saying.
Somebody will jump you out there. Somebody will get you.
It's a war zone in that parking lot. It's a miracle that one time Randy Orton managed to walk along the sidewalk there and not get murdered.
But yeah, like
I think
go ahead.
I think that's the way that they're gonna go.
Mm-hmm.
I think that she's gonna go to the main roster because the fact of like, correct me if I'm wrong. Who's the last person that they hyped up this much for signing?
The last person that they hyped up this much for signing, like before their debut, because Cody debut. Rhodes, we didn't like. There was speculation about Cody, but we didn't know until
Cody's coming back.
Yeah, but like it wasn't like they could hype it up beforehand because he had that special Mania entrance, being Vince McMahon's guy against Seth.
Yeah, like to where. To me, like, I'm trying to, I genuinely can't think of a time that they ever hyped someone up this much. Now, mind you, I know it's happened in the past, so don't
Veer was coming.
Okay, I mean, let's not.
Veer was coming. Gabe Stevenson had a lot of hype promos.
She is in bad company if those are the last
Baby Brock. Who is Baby Brock? What's his name? He didn't pan out in AEW. What's his name?
Oh, I know who you're talking about.
They hyped him up a lot on social media.
Yeah, I know who you're talking about. Yeah. I forget what his name is, but yeah, he's in AEW right now. Like Parker Bordeaux, I think is his name.
That's it. Thank you, Parker Bordeaux. He was in NXT for a little bit.
And stunk it up there, and now he stinks it up in AEW too.
You're right, though. I can't remember the last person that WWE hyped up this much.
Now, mind you, obviously, you know, someone's going to actually us at some point. They'll be like, actually.
I would like that. Let us know because we're not encyclopedias.
Yeah. I mean, they'll just treat it like you guys don't remember?
Are you guys real marks?
Yeah, it's like, are you guys even like Dave Meltzer? Do you remember what happened 5 years ago? Like, no, they don't.
1 star podcast. They're not encyclopedias. 1 star.
I've now made fun of fans. We've dropped down at least 1 star. One person's going to be personally attacked.
Soapy, heel Michael Cole, same thing, right?
No, I haven't dropped it. Oh, even nerds can be here.
Even nerds can be here.
I haven't dropped one of those yet.
Oh.
No, I genuinely think she is going to skip NXT, and I think if my thought's right that she's going against Nia, god damn, what a bad first feud. Like, I know it's gonna make her look like $1 million because she's gonna beat up the big bad guy. No, I'm not trying to be mean when I say big. I mean, like, they're building her up like she's like the main villain. Well, like, I mean, hell, I can't say anything. You guys can't see it, but my stomach's jiggling when I just slapped it.
Yeah.
Yeah, like I don't know. It's one of those things of where I think they're gonna build her up to be the one to beat Rhea. Like, it just feels like they're gonna strap the rocket to her.
Yeah, I see. I wouldn't do that. And there's a part of me that says, okay, the first little nugget that popped into my mind was, oh, she could be someone that they get on TV now, get her in, like, not big feuds, but like little feuds from now until January, because we're basically in October. By the time this podcast is live for everyone, not just Patreon, we're in October. So what? That's 3 months until the Rumble? 4 months if the Rumble's in late January. There's a part of me that immediately said, oh, Jade Cargill, number 1 on the list to win the Rumble. But then I'm thinking, okay, who's your champions? And I don't know if I want to strap the rocket to her, because there are a lot of people that are already speculating Bianca Belair, Jade Cargill, WrestleMania. And to me, I look at that and I go, if you're looking at a first feud for Jade Cargill, I don't hate that. Just don't do it now. I'm fine with that being a WrestleMania feud for Jade Cargill. I think I would also like that feud better if it didn't have a belt. If it didn't have, because the one thing that I look at, and this is something that I told you, Soapy, that I was going to mention, so it's on the record, we have it on footage that Ricky said this. When Jade Cargill was in AEW, I couldn't stand her. Every time I saw her on TV, I would check out. I hated her segments. And there's a part of me that goes, did I hate Jade Cargill and her character in AEW? Or did I hate her TBS championship run? Because basically what she was to the TBS title is what Roman is to wrestling. Garbage. Like, I'm going to hold the belt and there's no one that's going to beat me. And it's like every time you go into a match, it's like, well, this is boring because I know how it's going to end. I know what's going to happen. So there's a part of me that goes, I wouldn't strap the rocket to her. I'd make her look good. I'd have her in feuds maybe with Bianca. Hell, maybe she gets in a WrestleMania feud with Bianca and loses and then has to be built up. The main question is, though, is she coming in as a heel or a baby face? Because if she's coming in as a heel, I don't know if Bianca's a feud for her, because isn't the goal to turn Bianca heel a little bit?
I honestly don't know, because it's one of those weird things where, like, she's kind of the, I don't want to say, like, the superhero.
Yeah.
Of, like, the women's division, of where, like, she's the, like, the uber baby face, like, all the kids love her.
Yeah. She's
like,
Super Cena.
Yeah, I mean, basically.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of weird because with Jade Cargill in AEW, she started off as a heel because, I'm going to be completely honest, the segment that she had in AEW
wasn't it the one with Shaq? Was it Shaq or Snoop Dogg?
It was Shaq.
Mm-hmm.
Because that's when she did the whole thing where she was like, Cody, you have a small dick. And I'm like, what a way to debut. Calling Homelander's dick small. What a time to be alive.
I remember that now that you say that. I'm like, oh, that's right.
Towards like she debuted as a heel. Mm-hmm. Kind of over time, the fans started to like her because she started doing like the baddie section thing. Like, I mean, it worked. Like, people got behind it. To where, like, I feel like if you carry that character over, which I think should be pretty easy to do.
Yeah.
Like, she probably will start to be a face, and now it kind of becomes a situation of, like, okay, do they turn Bianca heel fully? Like, does Jade turn into a baddie? Like, who knows? I mean, hell, who knows? Honestly, dude, put Mia Yim with her. Take Mia Yim out of whatever the heck. I caught myself. I didn't do it this time. But whatever the heck group that AJ's running, a Bullet Club Light,
the OC.
They take her out of the OC.
The good friends, the good fellas.
I mean, I don't know. It's the Good Brothers is what the tag team's
called. The Good
called.
Brothers,
but like,
that's it.
Yeah, but like, you know, take Michin, Mia Yim, whatever her name is, out of there, and just put her with Jade Cargill.
Yeah.
The whole thing was head baddie in charge. You got the person with the baddie section. It fits like glue.
Yeah.
Just do it. Like, my whole thing just becomes like, yeah, it's that situation of like, where do they want her to be? Where it's like, if they're building her up this much, I don't think they'd make her a heel. Like, I think she's gonna come in and be a babyface. It's just the problem of Raw has so many baby faces, because I'm assuming she's debuting on Raw. Mind you, she may go to SmackDown. I don't know. But like, Raw has so many faces right now, where it's like, okay, like you're running into the problem of like, where's the heels? Like, you have to have someone who's, you know, the roadblock. So the good guys.
Here's also a problem that I think we have to discuss here, and this is my last part of it because this plays into it. Becky Lynch, I'm sure you saw, Soapy, the comments that Becky made about the women's division. In case nobody else has, the full quote via the New York Post, I'm getting this from the WrestleOps Twitter account. I need people to come up. I need people on this level. But if nobody's getting any TV time, if nobody's getting any story time, then they can't rise up because nobody knows who the hell they are. It's hard to gain momentum if you don't get no TV time, and it's hard to get TV time if there is nothing to fight for. We know that Rhea Ripley only likes hanging out with the lads, Judgment Day, and doesn't like getting hit. So that's why I came along with my championship, trying to give people some opportunities. I'm very grateful for my time, but I want more time, damn it. That's why I will do all of these things. That's why I'll go down to NXT. That's why I'll be on all the shows. That's why I'll be on dark matches on SmackDown, as well as being a mother and traveling and writing a book and all other things I'm doing. So at the end, it's kind of like, okay, it was a little like me at the end. But the point that I want to take from what Becky Lynch said and put it into here is, we can talk till we're blue in the face about who Jade Cargill could feud with at the start. Give me a woman that, like, the only women you can name are, we've thrown out Rhea, we've thrown out Bianca Belair, Asuka, Bayley, like Charlotte, but who wants to see that? Like, there are so many women on this roster that just nobody even thinks about. Nobody thinks about because they just don't get any time anymore. They don't get any time. And it's like, it feels like, to me, and maybe I'm wrong, it just feels like it's the same. It's Bayley, it's Becky, it's Charlotte, it's Asuka, it's Bianca, it's every one of those. And the only time somebody else is getting in, and people are going to say I'm disrespecting Io. I need to throw Io some credit. She is the champ. She is one of the champs right now. But, like, it just feels like it's always the same group of women that it's like, I do see Becky's point of, we need to give some of these girls more time to build up their characters to see if we have anything.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. I fully agree. It's definitely, I will say, in the Triple H era of WWE, the women's division has taken the biggest hit, like, by far. Mind you, want to know how you fix it on Raw's side? Stop having Judgment Day segments every 5 minutes.
You mean Bloodline Light? Purple Bloodline?
I'm dead serious. Like, I'm being completely honest. When I saw that they had the whole, like, I forget who was tagging with who. I think it was Sami and KO versus Finn and Damian. And I'm just like, can we stop for 5 minutes? Guys, look, I understand the Judgment Day, you're trying to make them a really big thing. I get it. I'm tired of them. I'm tired of seeing Judgment Day. And mind you, they killed Judgment Day for me in a span of a month.
Yeah.
Because it's every single Raw is like, hey, Judgment Day. Oh, 5 minutes here? Interrupted by Judgment Day. They're everywhere. They do everything. And it's like, the problem I have with it is the fact of they're so focused on just this one group. And it's like, to me, women's title suffers because of it, because Rhea's not feuding with anyone. She's just like Becky said, goes around, travels with the boys. And this is the thing. I have no problem with that because the fact of I'm a Rhea simp. I don't care. I'll admit it.
Big
I'm not
Dommy
the
mommy.
only one. Yeah, Dommy mommy.
Dommy's mommy?
Yeah. Like, to me, it's the whole thing of where it's like, at this point, they need to be like, okay, no, we need to cool it down a little bit. Because, like, I get, they're building up, because they're going to do a War Games match, and they're going to have Judgment Day versus everyone Roman's beat in the past, because everyone who got beaten by Roman is now feuding with the Judgment Day.
The one post I saw, I think it was from Monday, was like, oh, shoot, what was it? It was like Sami, KO, Jay, and Cody versus Judgment Day. And it's like, well, we'll be there, Soapy. You and I are going to be there in Chicago when it happens. But I will say this. I just thought about this in my head. And this will be, before we move on to the Edge thing, I want to know what you think about this. I think I have Jade Cargill's first feud that I would like to see. I think that it can get Jade Cargill, not get her over, but it could be a nice introduction. And it can also help out a woman who we've seen on TV, but she has only had two matches on television, both of them on Raw, both of them in July. Maxine Dupree. And the story I would run with is Maxine wants to challenge Jade because she's heard so much about Jade. She wants to prove herself. You get Alpha Academy with Chad Gable, coaches her up, have a few matches. Maxine might squeak out a win in one of them, but Jade can win the feud outright. Maxine can still look good because, hey, it plays into the character of like, hey, you had a good run here. It was a good, like, Chad Gable can coach her up and continue that character of like, hey, you had a good one, but we're not there yet. We still need to build up. building her babyface character and giving Jade Cargill a win in her first feud.
Yeah, like I definitely think that's a good one. I know that recently it was like that they were like, oh, well, Tegan Nox is getting a push next year, and it's like, well,
I love Tegan Nox. Well,
how many times have I heard that?
I hate to say it.
Are you about to bring up the injury?
No, well, A, she always gets injured. 2, watch Dakota Nox because she's always there when she gets injured. Team kick, and it's always the knees.
I mean, hey, all I'm saying, this is my last thing I have to say.
Yeah.
Shout out to Team Kick always having leg injuries. Every time. It's always something with the leg.
I like Tegan Nox.
I like both of them. It's just, it is really ironic that Team Kick keeps having problems with their leg.
So,
yeah, like, I think that overall, like, I enjoyed that idea.
So, moving on, this is kind of going to segue into your MJF fantasy booking. So, last night on Dynamite, Soapy, there was an ending to Dynamite that I actually kind of enjoyed. To me, I love cliffhangers at the end of wrestling shows. Give me a reason. Like, and it's not, I'm not saying like the dumb cliffhanger of like, oh, we'll see what Roman's answer is next week. No, I'm talking about like, whoa, what happened? Wait, I need that resolved now. I need that resolved. Like, make me want to tune in next week. And it was something where, correct me if I'm wrong, Jay White was the one getting beat up by a gang of wrestlers. And there was one, had the MJF mask on, the devil mask, and then just bam, grabbed the camera and it went all out. And that's how it ended. I love that. Make me want to tune in next week. Okay, how's that going to be answered? Hell, even get me to tune into Collision. Maybe they reference it on Collision and we get something there. Here's the point I want to do with it is I'm not going to ask you who it is because that's going to play into your fantasy booking, but I do want to ask you this. A lot of people are thinking it's Edge. Do you think it's Edge? And if not, how would you introduce Edge, as it seems like Edge could be AEW bound sooner rather than later?
Yeah, I don't think it's Edge, and it's primarily because the person looked a little too short to be Edge.
Okay.
Because, I mean, relatively, Edge is
not as buff, too.
Yeah, like, not as buff and not as tall. Like, mind you, Edge is surprisingly tall. Like, in WWE, he kind of looked a little short until you realize there's a reason they call WWE the land of the giants. There's a reason everyone calls it that. Because let me double-check Edge's height real quick.
He's got to be
I'm pretty
tall.
sure Edge is, like, 6'5".
Yeah. 6'5",
I can tell you this right now. Yeah. Like, all I'm saying, I'm not, no disrespect to whoever was wearing the mask. Who ain't 6'5", 240?
Yeah.
Like, that's a little guy. He's just hanging out. Mind you, I say little guy, probably taller than me. Like relatively, like, someone who's 6'5" is going to look real tall. Yeah. Especially because I think Jay White is just 6 foot tall. I think. Oh, I definitely don't think... Oh, 6'1". Okay, I was an inch off.
I mean, hey, close enough. You're in the ballpark. You're on the warning track.
Yeah. I don't think it's him. Like I said, I'll get into who I think it is. The fantasy booking. I think the easiest way to introduce Edge is just what everyone knows Edge is going to do at some point. How we wrap him into Christian? How do we have it?
Him and Christian better be feuding over that TNT championship. That should be that's the only thing I want to see Edge when he comes into AEW is feud with Christian for that TNT title.
Oh, absolutely. And all I'm saying at this point, he doesn't even have to bring up dead dads because you want to know all he's got to do?
What?
Edge is a dad.
Yeah.
You can just call him a bad dad. We have a new variant of the dad. It's like because I don't know if Edge's dad is dead, and that's information that I'm, to be honest, don't really need to know. But, like, I feel like they could get to, like, a new level of personal with that feud of where it's going to be like they're going to put some punches in there where it's like, oh.
So, like some real behind the scenes stuff that's like, oh man, I didn't expect to hear that.
Where it's like, ooh, only good friends could say that about each other. Like, this is gonna be like Xbox, like PlayStation party chat, like just shitting on each other.
So here's what I want to see, and this is very, very broadened. Maybe I do a fantasy booking video where I go into depth about this. Who knows? This is just off the cusp. But basically the timeline would be Edge comes in, challenges Christian for the TNT title. I don't know if I would have Edge win the title. What I would probably do is the main goal of Edge coming in is to Christian, this is not who you are. I know who you are. We're friends. This is not you. You're not a bad guy. Like trying to pull his friend out of being in the dark spot. Some way introduce a third man, whoever you want, the next up and comer, basically, of like, hey, we want to give you the rub of being the next TNT champion. It ends with a 3-way match. That person wins. And the end of the feud, basically, Edge pulls Christian out, and basically Edge and Christian are a new tag team in AEW. And then they win the tag title. Like, they just go after the tag titles. And we eventually get Christian and Edge tag champs. Has to happen before they retire.
Or Christian and whatever Edge's AEW name is going to be.
Copeland.
I love that everyone keeps calling him like Sexton Hardcastle, and I'm like, what? I don't even know what that means. I feel so out of the loop every time I see someone say Sexton Hardcastle.
Because he's only been in WWE, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Do you think he just uses his normal name of just Adam Copeland?
I think there's a good chance.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I'm assuming WWE owns the copyright to Edge. That'd be a little wild if they didn't.
I don't know if they would even let him take that with him.
I mean, if they don't own the copyright, they don't really have a say in it. But
No. But if they do, you know how like...
Oh, yeah, no. If they own the copyright, they're going to be like, Edge, it's a cold day in hell. We let you use that name.
Especially after those comments oh, wait. Okay, this is weird. I don't know if this is right anymore, but apparently there was an article on Ringside News from 2020 that was titled WWE Gives Up on Copyright for Edge.
Oh, well, who knows? I mean, honestly, all I'm saying, contract runs out at the same time Wrestle Dream happens. We see Edge show up at Wrestle Dream, who knows? Yeah, like, I definitely think at this point, now, like, unless this is WWE, going back to kayfabe existing, which that's a cold day in hell when that fully happens.
Mm-hmm.
Like, for anyone who doesn't know of, like, why everyone's basically sure at this point that Edge is gone, it's not just really speculation anymore. It's not confirmed, but it's basically confirmed because he was taken off of the miscellaneous roster.
Mm-hmm.
Well, basically, he's not on the website, like, at all for the roster anymore. Like, not even an alumni, not even Hall of Fame, like, nowhere in there. So, I definitely think we see Edge at Wrestle Dream, which I think is this Sunday, I think. His contract is up by then. Yeah, because that's the event that AEW is also putting on. I think we see him at Wrestle Dream. Don't know all that's happening at Wrestle Dream.
Like the card, I'll look it up. Also, by the way, the reason why I wasn't talking, I was looking into. They had the Edge trademark. It ran up in 2017. They tried to get it back, gave it up in 2020. So if my research is right, Edge has the rights to use Edge. As per Wrestle Dream, do you want to know the matches?
I have it up in front of me right now.
Okay, there's 10 of them.
All I'm saying, I see a Christian Cage match in there.
Who's he going to? Oh, him and Darby.
I mean, honestly, I think
Darby used to have the TNT title, right?
Yes, I think he's held it the most because I think he's held it twice now.
Would they just give it back to Darby? Would Darby be that third man that I talked about?
I think that's how you kickstart the feud. Because if I had to assume, I'm calling a spot on the point. I don't know if I don't know if the episode's going to be out by the time this is happening.
It'll be out on Sunday.
So it'll come out the day of. Now, for those of you that don't know, I'm a guru for calling stupid stuff that happens in wrestling. I called Kevin Owens getting ran over by a golf cart.
Yeah, you did. Yeah, you
So,
did.
mind you, I got a third sense for this stuff, or like a seventh sense. Basically, not a third sense. I have all of them. I'm pretty sure. But what I'm gonna predict is obviously Luchasaurus is gonna get involved.
Mm-hmm.
Sting and Nick Wayne, I think is his name, the guy who travels around with Darby now.
Yeah.
I think all three of them are gonna get involved.
Sting or Joker Sting, there's a difference.
It's gonna be either one. We'll find a way to have every single Sting show up on the night. Like
NWO Sting.
Those three will get involved. It'll be Luchasaurus will take down all three of them. He'll cheat to go to help Darby. We'll hear some form of music. I'm gonna laugh if somehow they find a way to get the "You Think You Know Me," because that'd be electric. Yeah, I guarantee.
Well,
you can't use
WWE
that.
doesn't own the rights to that. That's an actual band song. That's Metalingus by Altered Bridge.
Yeah, because I know it's like the weird things though of where it's like, I mean, obviously they do it for certain things of like, I mean, I know Ric Flair just gets to use Ric Flair's song anywhere.
Yeah.
Like, because I don't know if that's something that he can take with him, because if he can, that's going to be electric hearing "You Think You Know Me" in the middle of a Christian match.
Don't quote me on this, but I'm pretty sure there is zero chances that WWE owns the rights to that, since that is an actual song by an actual band that WWE had to pay the rights to use.
Okay. Yeah, like I said, I'm just saying it just in case, because I don't want to set myself up to get excited and then I hear some weird like banjo music come out. That'd be something if he came out to a banjo version of "You Think You Know Me."
No, I'm pretty sure.
You know what they got to do, Ricky? They got to get the guys who made the biscuits and gravy. And he's got to come out to that.
God, no, I do not need to hear biscuits and gravy when it comes to Edge coming out.
Yeah, like I think what they'll do is, like I said, Nick Wayne and Sting will get taken out by Luchasaurus. Luchasaurus will be cheating to help Christian. Edge will come out, take Luchasaurus out. I think Darby's gonna get the belt back. To where then I think that's how you send Edge and Christian off into their stuff. Darby can go and do his own thing, whoever Darby's gonna feud with. I think that's how you get the feud started between those two, just because it is. I think it's the easiest way of setting it up, because to me, I don't think Edge and Christian need the belt. Because I almost feel like what they would do is in the sense of, like, obviously, you know, Christian keeps making fun of dead dads and everything, and everyone loves it.
Yeah.
But, like, I think what they would almost do is, like, a storyline that they never really did in WWE. Like, they tried to do it a little early. It was also kind of when, like, no one really cared about Christian in his first run.
Yeah.
Where it's like you always got the spotlight, you always were the favorite, you know, blah, 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 blah. Like, but we're not in, you know, like, they're going to mention WWE. It's AEW. They mention them all the time. Like, I think
little brother usually always mentions big brother.
Yeah. Yeah, it's basically going to be that I think that they're going to center their feud around the fact of where it's like Edge has always been the bigger name of the two. And I think that's what it's going to be. Is like, I think that's where they're going to try to get that vitriol to come in. Because I don't think, like, realistically, I don't think they're going to do the whole dad thing between these two, because they don't really need it.
The end of it, though, needs to be them coming together, not being apart. The end needs to be them coming together, and then we get Edge and Christian as a tag team in AEW.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, because I think at some point, that's how they're going to separate Luchasaurus from Christian. Somewhere in this feud, because I'm assuming they're going to have Luchasaurus versus Edge.
Because you're more the AEW guy than I am. I'm like an AEW casual still at this point. Although Christian is not, like, it used to be Christian held the belt, but Luchasaurus was considered the TNT championship. Now it's Christian. Luchasaurus is still with him. He didn't turn on him. Yeah, so it was in the match. It was Christian. I think, if I remember correctly, he pinned Luchasaurus to win the belt, because it was the triple threat. Yeah.
To where now Christian is the actual champion, you know, but obviously everyone keeps running with the joke of, like, you mean still champion?
Yeah, you mean
like, everyone's
still?
doing that joke. Yeah, like, I think that's how they're going to do it, because in complete honesty, their feud doesn't need a belt.
Yeah.
Like, these two have such a history with each other in wrestling of where it's like, you don't need the belt. You don't need, like, other things involved. It's like, you can literally just use their history in wrestling. Mind you can't obviously be like, you remember when we beat up, like, Nitro and Morrison? You guys remember that one? Like, they're not gonna do that. Yeah, like, they're not gonna do that one. But, like, you know, they could bring up their history of where it's like, Christian's always been the little brother in the situation because realistically, in WWE, Christian never to the same level of Edge.
Mm-hmm.
Like, especially early, I mean, mind you, early on, they both kind of floundered around for a little bit, but then it was like, once Edge got the Rated R Superstar, took off.
So
history's history.
So you're saying Edge comes out at Wrestle Dream. You think you know me. Dun, 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 dun. He comes out, spoils the match for Christian. Darby Allin wins the title at Wrestle Dream. And then that's what carries the Christian Edge rivalry of like, that's the catalyst. You took my title from me that I've had for so long. Now that it's finally mine and not like just...
Yeah, it's like finally now that I'm the star, like you had to come back and take it from me again. Yeah. Like just do something like that.
Some of the best feuds have real life in it. And this would like...
Yeah. Even if they don't hate each other, because I guarantee they don't.
No, but they're good actors.
The way those two talk, like the way those two act around each other, like I'll never forget the Up Up Down Down episode when they faced each other in NHL. It's friendly banter the whole time. Like they basically are brothers. The way they act around one another. Yeah, like I think that's going to be something of seeing the way they pulled it off. I think it's going to be really interesting.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's generally how they're going to have the feud go.
Too bad Wrestle Dream's not in Toronto. If it was in Toronto, whoo, boy, he's coming in.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, no. Like, that would be electric.
It's in Seattle, which is close to Vancouver.
Yeah, I mean, neither of them are from Vancouver.
Yeah.
All I'm saying, I've just noticed, now mind you, someone actually me in the comments or anywhere.
Yeah.
Has there ever been a wrestler from Vancouver or like an actual big one? I'm not talking about like some Joe Schmo, like Bucky the Beaver or whatever his name would be.
From Vancouver?
Or at least from like that side of Canada. Because if you think about
Tyler Breeze.
It's always the... Okay, cool. So we got one.
Tyler Breeze. So I'm looking at a list here. It says Tyler Breeze, Rick Bogner, Bambi Hall, Rosa Mendez, El Phantasmo, Angela Fong, Buddy Roberts, Roni Jonah. Yeah, that's all I got right now. Tyler Breeze is the only one out of them that I'm like, oh, I know who that is.
Yeah, it's El Phantasmo is the one that I showed you his theme. It was either yesterday or a couple days ago.
That name sounds familiar to me when it was.
Yeah, and Rosa Mendez sounds really familiar. I don't recognize, like, I recognize the name. I don't know if I could put a name to a face.
Mm-hmm.
Like, all I'm saying, Eastern Canada, like, around the part where JD's
Chelsea
at.
Green.
Oh.
Kyle O'Reilly, Taya Valkyrie.
Okay, no, so now are you talking about for, like, Eastern Canada? Or are we talking about still, like, Vancouver?
Here, let me see. Because I think British Columbia also counts as Vancouver. I think it's Vancouver, British Columbia. Let me see. Let's see. Taya Valkyrie is... Ooh, Victoria. She's not Vancouver. Kyle O'Reilly is Vancouver. So Kyle O'Reilly counts. And Chelsea Green is Victoria. So Kyle O'Reilly would be the other one.
Okay. Yeah. So basically, the point that I was going to get to is that all the greatest wrestlers from Canada all come from the eastern side of Canada.
Yeah.
That's all I'm saying. Just notice, Montreal keeps pumping out bangers. That's all I'm saying. And like Quebec put out like one of them. Because I think that's where Kevin Owens is from. Basically, all of this to come down to Edge and Christian feuding, if they ever went to Canada, would be great.
Also, I will say I did look it up. Alter Bridge is the band. It was off their 2004 album. I think it was One Day Remains. 5th song on the track. I had it pulled up. I don't know this off the top of my head. I had it pulled up, and I'm trying to remember what I just saw. Metalingus. So Alter Bridge owns the rights to their own song. Edge can have that as his theme if he wants it. WWE does not own it.
Okay. Yeah, like I said, I just wanted to make sure, because I know sometimes like you can buy stuff for like only in wrestling capacity you can do this. Like,
yeah,
I know weird copyrights like
unless there's something weird like that, because I did read that there's another song off their first album that Edge used for his Judgment Day career when he was in Judgment Day, and then went back to Metalingus after so. But let's move on to the final thing. We've been talking way longer than I thought I would, or thought we would. Usually happens on this podcast, but let's get into the thing that everyone clicked on this video for. And if you've listened up to this point, if you skipped to this point, thank you guys for listening. Obviously, hit that sub button and follow button, depending on if you're on Apple, Spotify, or YouTube. Soapy, we're going to talk about your fantasy booking of how AEW should take I'm calling it the AEW championship because there's no real world championship anymore because CM Punk is, bye-bye, you're out of here. So I'll let you start this off. How should AEW take the title off of MJF? Where are we starting? Take us on this journey that I'm going to interject at some point.
Well, we're going to pick up exactly where Dynamite left off. We're going to discover who's behind the mask the whole time.
Mm-hmm.
I want you to guess at least 3 names. Who do you think that I think is behind the mask?
So it's got to be somebody, because this is what I think in real life. It's got to be somebody who wants you to think it's MJF or that MJF is behind it.
True.
My first guess would be Roderick Strong, because Roderick Strong would want to try to use that to break up Cole and... I don't know how you would use that, though, to break up Cole and MJF. Like, that was my first thought. Oh, was it Roderick Strong? But I don't think that's my first guess. Man, I don't know. So, I'll ask this. This is my kind of clarify question. Whoever is behind the mask, do I think they're automatically challenging MJF for the belt? Is that how I'm thinking about this? Then my first guess will be Roderick Strong.
It is not Roderick Strong.
All right, one off. I get 2 more.
2 more.
I mean, for the memes, I'm going to say Kyle O'Reilly.
Funny enough, you think it's a meme. I do actually think it is Kyle O'Reilly.
I was just going UE, man. That's all I was doing.
Well, that's actually the funny part is I do have it that they're reforming UE.
Okay.
Because this is where my theory starts, because I think this is actually where they're going with it.
Okay.
Because one, when you watch the video at the beatdown, notice that one of the people in the outfits has a really thick neck. Unproportionally thick neck.
Bobby Fish.
You know who keeps wearing... Well, no. Bobby Fish is going to be in the group as much as I don't want it.
Are they coming back? Are they bringing back Bobby Fish?
I mean, Bobby technically kind of works for both.
Isn't he an Impact? Oh, okay.
It's one of those things. They kind of work together.
Good point.
But, no. The reason is your first guess is a person that I think was involved in the beatdown.
Mm-hmm.
Because, you know how Roderick Strong on TV has been wearing the neck brace a lot?
Yeah.
You notice that it makes his neck really thick?
Oh, so you think he was one of the other guys?
Yes, because I think he's wearing it under it, because it's a running joke Roderick Strong wears it everywhere.
Yeah.
Because, and the reason why I think it's Roderick Strong, is that, one, when you watch the beatdown, there's a guy, like I said, with a very thick neck, and not like they're buff thick neck, of like, that can't happen. That neck is like bulging out over the shoulder.
Yeah.
More than one, I think that he's one of the people beating him down.
Uh-huh.
I think Bobby Fish is the other. I think Kyle O'Reilly is behind the mask because they're trying to hide that he's coming back.
Yeah.
Mind you, it's been over a year since we've seen Kyle O'Reilly.
Mm-hmm.
Because he's coming back from neck fusion surgery back in March.
There were 4. There were 4 people plus the masked individual, or were there just 4?
There were 4, including the masked individual.
Okay, so 4 total.
So I think Kyle O'Reilly is the one in the mask.
Mm-hmm.
So at least 2 of the 4 other people, I think are UE members. I could see one of the other ones just being like them making UE just bigger.
Yeah.
Either making them bigger or just having to be like the hired goons of the group.
Yeah, or if there's somebody, like, I'll ask you, is there somebody that's like up and coming, or like somebody that hasn't gotten the rub that they're like, hey, by putting you in this group, making a 5th member, it's going to get you... It's going to basically give you a little bit of rub to kind of like not start your career, but like give you TV time.
Yeah. I definitely think that one person will kind of be the young guy of the group.
The Randy Orton.
That I don't exactly know who that is at this moment.
Would it be someone from Dark that we just haven't seen a lot of?
Could be.
Mm-hmm.
It's basically just the way that I think one of them could be like Ethan Page. I'm just using Ethan Page as an example. But I think one of them, and this is just to kind of get them on TV, because we recently just saw them just do a run-in of like they just ran in to help someone, because I forget who was beating up who.
Yeah.
But, like they ran in. I think one of the other members is Sean Spears.
Isn't he with Bullet Club?
No, Sean Spears is not the one with Bullet Club. Sean Spears is the former Ty Dillinger, the chair.
Okay.
The guy who runs around with the chair.
Mm-hmm.
I think that they're going to make him either an unofficial member or an official member, whatever they decide to do, of UE, obviously waiting for Adam Cole to come back. And the reason I think that is because the fact of, MJF used to have the group, the Pinnacle. Pinnacle didn't end in such a good way because, the group kind of fell apart. Now, mind you, it's also because that was the most ragtag group of people I've ever seen in wrestling. None of them have a connection at all. It was FTR, Sean Spears, and MJF as a group. There's not a single connector there beside the four are bald. And like, if that's what the combo we're going with, then, man, we got some combos in wrestling to start booking. Basically, the two other members don't super matter. Basically, what I think that this does, and especially because I actually had to kind of rewrite this a little bit.
Yeah.
Due to the Adam Cole injury, I think this actually helps it. Because the fact that because Kyle O'Reilly is coming back from a very important surgery, because he's coming back from neck fusion, which is basically something of like, that requires a long time to recover from. I think with the Adam Cole injury, that's why they're like, okay, Kyle O'Reilly, you're back. Because now, Adam Cole's going to be out for what, couple months? That's a couple months that Kyle O'Reilly can start working out again. I mean, I'm pretty sure he's been working out. Getting back into shape, getting ready for in-ring stuff. Because notice how the one in the mask wasn't hitting anyone.
Yeah.
He was just watching.
So that's why you think it's Kyle O'Reilly.
Especially because the fact of, if you noticed, Kyle O'Reilly isn't super tall. He's not super big either. That's why I'm like, that matches the physique of Kyle O'Reilly.
So I'm going to ask you a question. Maybe this is me. I want to say maybe this is me stepping on your toes, but like doing this in this format, I'm going to be stepping on your toes a lot.
Oh, that's fine.
Do you think this masked group, because obviously the thing that I think about is you have time now because of the Adam Cole injury. Do they cost MJF the Ring of Honor tag titles? Because he's got a 2-on-1 handicap match on Sunday.
I don't think so. I think what they're going to do, I think one of the masked men is going to help him.
Okay.
Because I think what they're going to do...
Make MJF think, hey, I'm on your side.
Yeah, like they're going to make it seem like, they're MJF's friends. Because what eventually all of this is going to lead up to is eventually Adam Cole is going to come back from his injury. And they'll have it that it'll be the whole time, oh, this was Adam Cole's group. Adam Cole put this group together.
My eyes, I don't know if you saw it, Soapy, like my eyes went like, oh, and then like I didn't say anything because I wanted you to say it. I caught on to that right before you said it. I'm like, oh, Adam Cole's behind it the whole time. The swerve.
That it's Adam Cole's like, oh, hey, like, by the way, just so you know, like, since I was gone, I decided to be a good friend and get some friends to help you.
Yeah.
Mind you, keeping them all masked so that MJF doesn't know who any of them are.
And
he'd be like, oh, like, buddy, I'm back to help you.
Yeah.
And then what they do is eventually, at some point, I'd assume not too long after Adam Cole comes back, drop the belts to Aussie Open or whoever. Eventually, that's when you start the turn. Obviously, they already kind of had like the they almost turned, but they went back to being best friends thing.
Yeah.
This time, you actually take the bait of the easy turn. And you have it that, like they go to hug it out, blah, 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 blah. You have it that, MJF's back is turned to the whole group. Adam Cole hugs him, they're hugging it out, blah, 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 blah. Adam Cole does the whole Triple H like thumbs down thing, blah blah blah,
Mm-hmm.
like however you want to do it. Group starts attacking him, hits Panama Sunrise, whatever he's gonna hit. You have it that the members unmask, and at least 3 of them. Who cares about the other 2 at this point? We don't care. I think one of them is just honestly a stand-in for Adam Cole.
Mm-hmm.
3 of the people unmask. Obviously, it shows Roderick Strong, Bobby Fish, and Kyle O'Reilly. The gang's all back together.
Mm-hmm.
Ta-da! They're all home. I mean, they've all been home the whole time, but one of them's been hurt the whole time.
Yeah.
And one of them's technically not with the company. This is what starts down their feud.
Mm-hmm.
Of where this is the thing of where you... Because obviously, this is kind of where I differed from my original, where I was going to have it when I first pitched it, that MJF was going to turn on Adam Cole.
Yeah. Because
they had the whole thing of where, like, oh, well, it's Adam Cole was the one towing the line in their match against each other, of like, is he really his friend, blah, 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 blah. But I'm like, no, with this injury, one, this gives it enough time that all of these guys can be back and healthy and ready to go. Where now, we have another group who can challenge the Elite.
Mm-hmm.
We have other groups who can challenge Bullet Club now.
Yeah.
Because
another contender for the Trios Championship. Yeah. Basically, it would be...
Or just for other belts.
Oh, if they hold all the gold... If they... And you know what I kind of like about them bringing in new members here? They could bring in... And yet again, I hate that people are going to be like, oh, this is just copying WWE. First off, they're going to have a different name, right? WWE owns Undisputed Era.
I don't think so. I think they used UE in Ring of Honor, I think.
Okay. So if they don't own that, that's great because they could do the dripped in gold again. I think then you have to run it to where they recruit 2 new members. And then eventually, not right away, Adam Cole's the heavyweight champion. You have I would have like Kyle O'Reilly, Roderick Strong, Bobby Fish, the trios champions, and then the 2 new members as their tag champs. Unless that's way too many members. Unless having 6 members is way too much for a group. Unless we're getting Judgment Day territories.
I just gotta check one thing.
You're checking the copyright, aren't you?
Yeah, because I'm trying to remember. Because they had a name before, because WWE does own the rights to Undisputed Era.
Yeah.
I'm trying to remember what the group was called in ROH. Basically, go back to whatever that name is. It's basically they go back to that name, bring in a few new members. Now, mind you, like I said, I think one of the members is probably just a stand-in for Adam Cole. Where, like, I do think kind of adding that extra person, one, kind of allows you to do the dripped in gold thing, because especially, there's mid-card titles. There's not just, only the trios in the world. Basically, they start their feud. You have it to where Adam Cole's like, oh, I've always been better than you. The same sort of thing they were doing before. This time, MJF being a heel in the past kind of comes back to bite him in the... Get ready to mark a swear. Comes back to bite him in the ass.
Oh, ass is fine.
Basically, yeah, you know what I mean, though.
Yeah.
Like, just in case. You never know.
Soapy's like the world these days.
Yeah. Yeah.
I thought I was getting ready for an F-bomb, and then I heard ass, and I'm like, oh, let me put my pencil
But basically,
away.
the years upon years of MJF being a douche to everyone comes back to bite him in the ass. He doesn't have anyone to come out and help him.
Yeah.
Where it's basically this almost kind of turns MJF into that underdog babyface, because I'm going to be completely honest, as much as I love him as a heel,
the fans are behind him. The fans love him.
Yeah. Like, he is by far the biggest babyface in the company. No matter what he does, he is the biggest guy in the company right now. And I think right now, they have so many natural heels, not a lot of good faces.
Yeah.
I think this is the way that you get the fans fully behind him. Of now, they have their final match. I'm not going to say pay-per-view names because God only knows.
Well, I was gonna ask you. So, I am looking at the pay-per-views. I'm thinking of pay-per-view names in my head. First question I'm going to ask you is: do you think Adam Cole will be healed enough for this part to come to conclusion? Basically, him winning the title at Full Gear on November 18th in California, in Inglewood.
I don't think so, because I don't know if he's going to be healthy by then.
So then basically what you're waiting for, and this is me going off of, I don't know, the last 3 years of AEW booking. That means your next pay-per-view will be Revolution, that will happen sometime in March.
I think
the first weekend of March.
Yeah, I think you can save it up towards that, especially because AEW does like a lot of long-term stories.
Yeah.
Of where, like, that one, it doesn't, I mean, obviously, I think he's going to be enough of a heel because it's going to be, he's breaking up the bromance.
Yeah.
Where, like, you know, everyone always anticipates it. Like, everyone, every time they have a problem, everyone just, like, the whole stadium cheers, you know, like, I'll get out, double clothesline. Like, the fans absolutely love this group.
Mm-hmm.
To me, what I think this does is this allows Adam Cole to play the more natural role that he is. I think he plays a better heel than he does a face.
Mm-hmm.
I think this allows MJF to go off into whatever he does post-title reign, where either he's working with some of the biggest heels in the company, like we start seeing like almost a redemption arc of MJF, before eventually he goes back to being a heel, because let's be real here, it's MJF. He's going to become a heel again at some point. But basically, Full Gear comes around, or whatever one's in March. Adam Cole wins. Adam Cole beats MJF. You know, everyone boos. They're like, "Oh, boo this man, boo!" Obviously, because, you know, no one likes to see the good guy lose, especially when it's the guy who broke up the bromance of the summer. This then sets up that UE now is a very prominent group. Because, primarily, depending on if they keep the extra 2 members, you now have it to where they're in prime position to go for tag belts, for mid-card belt, for trios belt, whatever belts they want to go for. Basically, UE goes from the, like, it just goes from, like, it's just Adam Cole.
Yeah.
Now it's like this could be a problem now.
Yeah.
Where then, and it's the first segment of it.
How
do you change it from MJF?
I'm going to interject. Could you imagine feuds between UE and Scissor Me Daddy Ass for the trios titles?
Yeah, I mean, that's a group that they could go after.
I'm just thinking of that and being like, because the Acclaimed are so over and so baby that them versus heel UE, it just writes itself. And you could just smile and be like, that's going to be awesome.
Yeah, it just sets them up for everything. Of where, because I mean, then honestly, if
the Elite would go back to being faces, right?
Yeah, I think by default that would push them back face, because
if they're even tag champs by that point, let's be honest.
Say, they're also like tweeners. They keep bouncing back and forth because like each individual member's in a different spot right now.
I'm dumb. They're not tag champs. FTR is. Or is there 2?
You're thinking of the Young Bucks.
There's 2. Are there 2 tag titles?
There's trios champions and there's just regular tag champs. Okay.
There's the ROH ones. That's what I'm thinking of. And MJF and Cole have those.
Yeah. Where I think then by that point, you know, they're all doing that. Basically, I think you start to get a lot of big feuds between the groups. Specifically, you have Bullet Club Gold. Obviously, Jay White's going to be kind of pissed UE beat the hell out of him.
Yeah.
You know, so especially, you know, Bullet Club Gold's going to want some. The Elite are going to be like, hey, our former best friend Adam Cole, like, you want to give us a shot? You know, and then obviously Adam Cole's going to play the heel, tell him no. We're going to have a feud. Like, just imagine we're going to get matches between Kenny Omega versus Adam Cole. We'll get, like, Hangman versus Cole. Basically, you know, kind of build Adam Cole into this, like, I'm going to use it this way. It's because what everyone kept saying in NXT, basically turn him into the Triple H. He is the chicken shit. He is waiting at the end. You have to get through the entirety of UE to get to him. Because then that's where we lead into. I'm going to give you 4 guesses. Who do you think I'm going to have dethrone him or start the feud that takes the belt from him?
Dethroning Adam Cole. Sorry, I will say, sending a text message. I'm a little divided right now. Got a text message from family that I needed to respond to. So you're talking about Adam Cole, right? Okay. Who takes the belt off of Adam Cole?
For anyone who doesn't know, by the way, the segment is how I would fantasy book for the next 2 champs.
Yeah, well, the
Adam Cole's the really obvious one.
The title says MJF. That's what pulls you in. This is the part that keeps you going. You get a bonus. Ooh. I'm gonna say, is it somebody with the company now, or is it somebody? Okay, so it's not like an Edge.
I'd be hell if I was like Edge shows up.
Hangman? Okay. Does he have a history already with Adam Cole?
Yes, he does.
An AEW history. Okay. So it's somebody who has a WWE. So it's not like a Bryan Danielson. He has a history with Adam Cole. Just not. Oh, is it? Why am I blanking on his name? Cesaro. Why am I blanking on his? Why am I blanking on his AEW name?
You're thinking about Claudio Castagnoli.
Claudio Castagnoli. I didn't want to call him by Cesaro, so that's my second guess.
It's not Claudio. See,
I thought with that one you were being sneaky. When I said like AEW, I'm like, oh, he thinks that I'm gonna think WWE, but you know, Cesaro and Adam Cole and up down down connection. That's where like that. I thought you were gonna be sneaky there. Thought you were gonna go that sneaky.
Because I don't even think they were in ROH at the same time.
What is it? A WWE connection or a WWE past feud?
It is a WWE connection.
Okay. Who did Adam Cole feud with in WWE? Of course, I think of the bangers with Johnny Gargano, but he's still in WWE. With Tommaso Ciampa, but he's still in WWE. Keith Lee. Oh, Keith. Correct me if I'm wrong. Keith Lee and Adam Cole was the Great American Bash of how Keith Lee got the NXT Championship, right?
Yes, because by that point, Keith Lee was already the North American Champion.
Yes.
Okay. Adam Cole was like, I'm going to take the belt off you, and then obviously he didn't.
So I get one more.
Guess.
They've had a WWE. Oh.
They have.
I don't think it's Swerve Strickland. Aleister Black.
It is Aleister Black.
Oh, that's for a second I was like, who? And I was like, there's one other WWE guy that I love. Malachi Black. I'm sorry. I'm thinking of their dead names.
No. I mean, this is wrestling. Dead naming people is just a common thing that happens. It doesn't matter.
They're dead names.
Yeah. It's the way that I set this part up. Now, mind you, like I told you in the pre-show, this one isn't going to be a super thorough.
Yeah.
Because obviously, things can change. I'm assuming Adam Cole has a long reign.
So I'm going to ask you this. Do you have an idea of how long this part of the feud would go on? Because let's say Adam Cole wins the title in March at Revolution. There's also rumors, Soapy. I am happy about this because I did not know about this. This is apparently from 12 days ago as we're recording this on the 28th. According to Andrew Zarian of Matt Men Podcast, AEW is expected to move its pay-per-views to streaming service Max. Please do that. Please do that. Please do that. I'm checking the date on this. Yeah, 2024. Yeah, okay. Okay, good. 2023. I didn't want this to be 2020 because the logo they're using for Max is the old logo. Also, expands their pay-per-views to 12 a year.
Basically once a month.
Do you have an idea of either is it going to be a double or nothing? Is it going to be all in, all out? Or is it just like hey, this many months the feud will go on?
I think it's going to be a most of the year thing.
Okay. So probably an all out in Chicago or an all in at Wembley.
Yeah. Basically just, where it's going to be a long title reign because AEW has a bunch of long title reigns.
Yeah.
Because, and essentially the main crux of this is kind of it's building up the House of Black even more. Mm-hmm. The House of Black kind of just have existed. Mm-hmm. AEW's been building them up a little bit, especially
they
Julia
were
Hart.
trios champs.
Yeah, but overall they kind of just, hey, they're just there.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying that in a mean way. I love the House of Black.
Mm-hmm.
But like right now, like Julia Hart's the most built up member in the group, which fair. She's getting really good at wrestling. I can't wait to see what her career turns into.
Yeah.
But like to me, especially this is kind of based off of recent comments from Aleister Black himself.
Mm-hmm.
Of where he has talked about, like, you know, for originally he wasn't super happy with how he was being booked in AEW because he was just being put in trios matches. Now, mind you,
because wasn't there rumors last year that he was going to be released or that he wanted out of the company?
Yes, that he wanted out because he was having problems with his back and like they wanted, like, and it was just a bunch of stuff of not being happy with his booking.
Yeah.
Basically, the way that I have this being set up is you kind of get the best of both worlds of where you build up like House of Black little by little. They continue to kind of get built up. And what you do is eventually Aleister Black gets to do what he wants to do. I keep saying Aleister Black. I know it's Malachi Black. I'm just saying Aleister. It's the first name that pops into my head. But eventually, Aleister Black starts going for like singles matches because that's what he wants to do. But he's been stuck in trios because they're building up the House of Black. You have it that Buddy and Brody, they start going into tag stuff because realistically, like, I love both of them. Brody isn't really a singles guy. He very much is a tag guy.
Yeah.
And as much as I'd love for Buddy to go off and do singles stuff, they don't have an extra member of House of Black tag with Brody. So I think just these two being stuck together, Aleister basically, you know, he starts going on a win streak in solos, and eventually they have the whole thing of where, you know, UE, like, you have UE beat every other stable. They're beating everyone. Like, UE's reigning on top.
Yeah, they are running through the AEW roster.
Yeah. Like, they're just dominant. Like, Adam Cole, like I said, being the chick shit heel, you know, being the, like, Triple H. I knew the pen was going to get clicked.
Yeah, so, like, here's the thing. I feel like you said that exact chicken...
Yeah, no, I said
before.
It
I probably missed one. I'm gonna be completely honest. I probably missed one.
It was when I just was explaining what I'd have Adam Cole be as champion.
Yeah, I ain't gonna go find it. Everyone gets one.
Yeah. Basically, it's, you know, they've been running roughshod over everyone. No one can beat UE. By this point, I'd probably have it that Roddy and Kyle O'Reilly are tag champs. Bobby Fish is Bobby Fish doing something else somewhere that's not near the company, thankfully. Can go back and wrestle dinosaurs where he belongs.
You really don't like Bobby Fish.
I don't. I just had to bring Bobby Fish back because it's UE.
Yeah.
Basically, that starts to all happen, and they do the whole, like, oh, like, no one can beat us. We beat everyone. And obviously, you get the spooky, ominous House of Black promo. The lights turn off. You do the whole thing where it's like the let us introduce ourselves thing. Because the fact
Allow me to reintroduce myself. My name is...
I mean, yeah, you may as well. No, it's basically the entire thing is built around the fact of, like, at least with Julia Hart's song, it has it of where it's like the house always wins. Of where it's the, like, hey, you may have beat all these guys, you haven't beat the house yet.
Yeah.
Where basically it builds up to the feud of where it'd be not Body. I put their two names together. Brody and Buddy would go against Kyle O'Reilly and not Bobby Fish, Roderick Strong for the tag belts. And it would be Malachi versus Adam Cole for the belt. And it would be at the same pay-per-view. And basically, you just kind of pass the torch from, like, dominant faction to dominant faction.
Question. Because Julia Hart's involved with the with the House of Black, do you insert I almost said Bianca Belair. That's not her name. Britt Baker into UE officially. Is she a member because of Adam Cole?
Yeah, I think you could do that. Because I think then that's kind of how you can bring Britt Baker back to being a heel. Because she's kind of turned face.
Bring Britt Baker back to television. That's not just some dumb match to give Saraya the win because they're at Wembley. Oh, I hated that match.
Basically. Yeah, it's like, because then this allows them to turn her back to being a heel, because to me, honestly, Britt Baker's
the best
way better
Britt Baker. Yep.
Yeah, of like, you're able to put her in there with the group to be a heel. Because then, honestly, at that point, I don't know which of the two women's champions she'd be. I don't know if she'd be I forget which one's there. I forget, like, there's it's not TBS.
It's
right?
TBS. TNT men, okay. TBS women.
So either TBS or the AEW Women's Championship, whichever one you have Britt hold. Basically, it would be kind of a transfer of power from one faction to another. Because obviously, they really value Julia Hart. Mostly because I don't think Julia Hart's been beat in like 3 years.
She's the one that I'm seeing on Twitter that people are saying that like they're adding her moonsault into some of the best moonsaults in wrestling right now, right? I think it was like EO. Oh, someone from NXT that I can't think of their name, and Julia Hart are the three that I've seen as like the best moonsaults in women's wrestling. Yeah,
like it is insane. Like, genuinely, and this is where I get the, no pun intended, stand on my soapbox for a second.
Is that a new segment, Soapy Soapbox?
Yeah, I mean, if we want to. Like, to stand on my soapbox here for a second. Genuinely, guys, girls, whoever's listening, whatever you want to be, keep an eye on Julia Hart, because I genuinely think she is going to be like one of the next biggest and greatest women's wrestlers we've ever seen.
Is she AEW Women's Champion one day?
Oh, absolutely.
Okay.
I think she is quickly getting to the point of where she is the cornerstone of the women's division. Because right now, I think the cornerstones are Chris Statlander. I'd say Britt. Champion. Britt's never. I'd say Britt's never on TV anymore. But like her or Chris Statlander, Britt, Toni Storm. Just because Toni Storm's character is great. But like Marilyn Monroe character is fantastic. I didn't think anyone could pull off that type of character, but she pulled it off. It's basically, and just kind of the few people here and there that they view as special. But then it's like right there in the center is like Julia Hart.
Yeah.
Or like to me, it's like there's a reason why I keep saying to people like keep an eye on her. Because if there is ever a time she leaves AEW, which I mean, it's always possible for people to leave every company.
You knew where I was gonna go, because I was gonna say when you were like, yes, she will be, or will she be WWE champion first?
I mean, either way she goes, either company needs to view her as like she's a star.
Yeah.
Because of the fact of where it's like, because when you look at her stuff before House of Black, not great. To be completely honest, not great. Her stuff pre House of Black.
Yeah.
Everything post joining House of Black, of where it's like she is genuinely one of the most impressive members. Because mind you, she's really young.
Yeah.
Like, that's kind of the big thing with AEW's women's division, is they are really young. There's a lot of talent there. That's why I get so mad that it's like, please, for the love of God, someone book this women's division right.
Yeah.
Let me double check the age here on Julia Hart, because I'm pretty sure she's like 20. Yeah, she's 21 years old. So, like, mind you, pretty young.
Yeah.
Especially for wrestling. Wrestling that is super young. Where it's just, keep an eye on her, guys. It is genuinely, she is going to be one of the people that she's a cornerstone of women's wrestling just around the world. Yeah, anyways, Malachi Black becomes champion.
You're like,
sorry,
that's how that one ends.
I had to steer this back to
the whole
point.
To
the original segment.
I was gonna say, like, so one thing I think of top of my head, and I'm only gonna say this because I feel like AEW purists are gonna feel this way. Would that make AEW purists mad because it's like, oh, we're just running with WWE guys? Or will it not matter? Will AEW fans be like, hey, you know what? I don't think about that. If it's good, I don't care.
I could see people being upset about it. I also look at it this way, though.
Like, is there anybody else, and this is all I'm going to ask from the last part, is, because let's be honest, Adam Cole's taking the title off of MJF.
Yeah, like that's set in stone.
The best friends have to implode at some point. The only question I have, is there somebody else at the company that might deserve a title reign just as much as Malachi Black?
I have a name, and I think it's Darby Allin.
Depending on if he's TNT champion.
Yeah. Like, I think it's one of those things of where, like, to me, I've talked about this before in the Discord, I hate the general idea of the pillars.
Yeah.
But, like, because let's be real here, only 2 of the 4 pillars are actually good.
The pillars are what? Jungle Boy, Sammy Guevara, MJF, and who's the fourth
Darby.
one? Darby.
Yeah. And let's be real here, only 2 of them are good. Like,
What,
I hate to say it.
Darby and MJF?
Yeah, they're the only 2 good
Dude,
ones. Jungle Boy stinks.
Sammy Guevara, I will say this, had like, I still like Sammy. I think that Sammy, like, there's something there. It's just AEW is not using it. Like, I always was like, man, Sammy Guevara could be something good, could be something great. I just always hated how he was just. I hated how he was just in Jericho's group. It's like, go off, be your own thing. You could be better without it.
Yeah, I think it's just right now, it's the problem of he does not get like a single reaction from crowds.
Yeah. Well, because people are so bored of him because of the Jericho Appreciation Society crap.
Well, it's that, and it's also the people can't separate the thing that happened between him and his ex-fiance.
Good point.
Or not technically ex-fiance, but proposed to her on TV. To me, that front, stop caring, guys. It's like neither of them care.
Yeah.
So like, don't like, mind you, this is the thing. I get it. It's a scummy thing to do that they did it, and it sucks. Like at the same time, don't lord it over people because like that's something that is outside of wrestling. Both of them are obviously perfectly fine with doing the segment. But it's like they gave him a new Titantron and stuff, and it's just like when he comes out. Oops, excuse me, I burped.
Is that what I saw where people are like, man, 4 letters is hard?
Yeah. Yeah, like it's literally when he comes out, when he's walking, head silent. There is not a peep. And it's just the fact of where it's, to me...
He needs a character. Correct me if I'm wrong. Could need a taken off TV for a while, let the crowd forget about you, reintroduce yourself as something else.
Yeah, I definitely think he's in need of a character change. Because the whole thing is, like, to me, now I'm going to use this as an example. Mind you, I think one of these is way more talented than the other. I think he's in the same boat as, like, what Austin Theory started to get into.
Okay.
Or they paired Theory with Waller.
Yeah.
Of where, like, Theory was getting to the point of, like, okay, just shut up. Get off my screen. I don't want to see you. Because I'm tired of seeing you. Like, I think that's the point that Sammy Guevara has started to... I mean, I think he's been there for a while. It's just the problem of... It's the ham-fisted attempt of, like, no, you're going to like him. He's on your screen. Don't you like him?
Yeah.
And it's like... Because the whole thing was, like, people really enjoyed Sammy Guevara at one point. Like, it is crazy to think, like, 2 years ago, like, when he was having his matches against Cody... Like, mind you, I think that feud genuinely started the decline, at least for, like, the later half of that feud, when they did the whole, like, oh, you're not the champion, I'm the champ, but you also still have a belt, so we're unifying these two. When they did that whole thing, like, right near the end of Cody's tenure in AEW, like, I think that took a lot of the wind out of the sails. But, like... his general, like, because go back and listen to reactions when he came out during those matches. There was something. Like, crowds reacted, mind you, maybe not in a positive way, but, like, you know, crowds reacted. They were like, oh, it's Sammy Guevara. Now it's just like it's Sammy.
Yeah. There's one name that I think that to answer my own question, because you threw out Darby Allin, who's a good one, but I just wanted to, I'm checking one thing beforehand. So let's see. He made his debut in, were both of these guys in? Okay. All right. So technically this guy, they both were in AEW from the beginning, but technically one of them made his debut first. Like, I wouldn't mind Darby, but there's another guy that I feel like, if it's not going to be Aleister Black, needs to be in consideration. I feel like fans would get behind it, and I feel like it works because he's a babyface against Cole. I want to know what you think. Orange Cassidy.
I think that's actually a really interesting one.
Especially because
he's
one of the guys I think of like, AEW from the beginning. He is like one of the, if we're talking real pillars of AEW, he should be one.
Absolutely. I mean, mind you, the main thing they were going for with the pillars is that like it's the young talent, and Orange Cassidy is surprisingly old.
But when I think of pillars, I think of like the dudes that when people think of your company, that's who
they think of.
Like the current people. Like those are the dudes. Like, let's be honest, I love them, hate them. Roman would be a pillar of WWE right now.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. I definitely think Orange Cassidy is a really good one, especially with the fact of, I mean, like, he's one of the biggest names in the company right now.
Yeah.
As much as, and being back on my soapbox for a second here, can you crotchety old, pardon my language, Ricky, get ready to write it down. Can you crotchety old just shut up about Orange Cassidy's gimmick for 5 seconds?
Do people hate his gimmick?
Yes, because all the old who listen to Jim Cornette, mind you, this is the thing, I respect Jim Cornette for what he's done in wrestling. I'm how tired of hearing that old man. Like, no, I am getting on my soapbox with it because it pisses me off to no end. This is the thing, guys, I get it. You don't like the, he doesn't try, the character's bad. You know what? You want to know what's funny? Think about all your stupid, muscled, oiled up steroid heads from like the 60s and 70s on circles around them. You want to know why? Because Orange Cassidy's actually good. Because guess what? People like the character. Because this is the thing. Surprise, surprise. He doesn't draw a dime. I'm gonna let you guys know this right now. Orange Cassidy's one of the top merch sellers and the second biggest wrestling company in America right now, who on average has more TV viewership than Smoky Mountain Wrestling, or than any territory wrestling, because guess what? AEW is bigger and better. Suck it, idiot. So, draw a dime, my...
Oh, so Soapy for a second there was like, wait a second, we haven't sworn enough. Got to get our money's worth.
No, I got to get my quota.
Got to get the quota. Oh,
I am the tribal chief of MVW, whatever it comes to, or not MVW. God, that's a fucking throwback name. That's the throwback.
MVW, dude.
I'm the tribal chief of swearing. When it comes to MVP.
I remember when we told Dave that he'd been knocked off the mountaintop. Soapy didn't just push him aside. Soapy pushed him off the mountain.
No one's allowed on my mountain. All right, this is my mountain of relevancy.
Soapy came at the...
my mountain of profanity.
You came with the pyramid from Yu-Gi-Oh! And banished him to the Shadow Realm.
I came with the Millennium Timepiece.
That's what it is, the Millennium Timepiece, and banished him to the Shadow Realm. Yeah, I mean... I can't wait to see how all this unfolds. Like I said, the thing that is the crux is how Dynamite ended. I am now bought in. I just hope they don't mess it up.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I hope they don't mess it up either. It's one of those things where like I will be critical of AEW at times, and it is one of the things I'm very critical of with them.
I feel like both of us are critical with both companies when they mess up, because I'm definitely critical of WWE when they mess up. By bringing Nia Jax back. I don't know why I said it so weird there. Like, oh. Why?
Yeah, like,
Why?
I definitely think that that's the one part I'm worried of with the whole thing. Is AEW has dropped the ball on things before.
You don't say.
Yeah, I mean, like, let's be real. Everyone drops the ball on everything. But, like, there are times of where it's like AEW kind of drops the really easy ones.
Yeah.
Like, I'm going to be completely honest. I'm still kind of salty about how they dropped the ball with Wardlow. And that's primarily just because the fact of, I don't know. He was kind of just, big name. Kind of made him a really big star with his feud with MJF, and he just did a whole lot of nothing.
So, I just found something, Soapy, that you may be right. We may be seeing Edge at Wrestle Dream. You want to know why?
Oh.
Do you want to know what the pre-sale promo code was for the pay-per-view? EDGR 95. Huh. Kind of sounds like Edge and Rated R in there, huh?
Just a little bit.
EDGR 95?
Yep. Yeah, no, like, I think it's definitely... I
was really looking for something completely different, and that's what I found. And I was like, wait, what?
I mean, hey, if we find it, we find it. Yeah, like, I definitely think it's going to be really interesting how AEW handles this. And I really hope that they manage to do this in the right way, of where they're not going to just kind of drop the ball. Because the thing is, with this is genuine star-making things you're doing.
Mm-hmm.
Where it's like, and it's, to be completely honest, do not mess it up. Because if you mess it up, that's not a recoverable mess up. Like, obviously, this thing, fans will always love MJF and they'll always love Adam Cole.
Mm-hmm.
MJF could literally tap dance with a frog in the pond, like in the swamp, and everyone would still love him because he's MJF. With everything surrounding it, it's like, no, you have to hit on this. Don't screw it up. Don't overbook it. Don't underbook it. It's make this a prime focus of, like, trying to figure out who this is. AKA, for the love of God, do not have Excalibur tell us who someone in the mask is. If I hear one time Excalibur start talking about who's in a mask, I'm hitting someone.
We are not Excalibur stands here on Heel Talk.
I am not. Oh,
I say we because Soapy, you were at the beginning. I was like, oh, well, like, man, you really hate this Excalibur guy, and you told me why. And then I started watching AEW. This was like when it started, and I was like, wow, I really don't like this Excalibur guy. Way to make me feel like I'm dumb.
Yeah, like,
has to know everything about everybody.
Yeah, like, obviously, this thing. I know someone out there's going to be an Excalibur fan, and they're going to be like, don't say that about Excalibur.
Can't pull the wool over his mask.
It's like, this is the thing. He doesn't need to know every single little thing.
Yep.
Just like I don't need to know every single little thing. No, we can have something be a mystery.
That's what makes it fun.
Yeah. I don't need him to tell me, you know, like, this guy wrestled with this company, and oh my god, I'm the only human being who knows what he is. And it's like, okay. Like, just do what Taz does. Taz is just there solely to say the Japanese names of every submission move in AEW.
He's doing BJ's in the back, Cole. Banana juice, Cole. Banana juice.
Yeah, like, literally, it's, if you listen to Taz on commentary, he's just like, he is there to solely say the Japanese names of every move.
You want him on every commentary table with Japanese wrestlers.
Not even just Japanese wrestlers, with literally anybody. He did it with Daniel Bryan. He did, like, an armbar, and he pulled out the Japanese name of the armbar. I'm like, what?
That's just his shtick now.
Yeah, and I'm like, mind you, because they did the whole thing of, like, because when he was in America, they called his move the Taz Mission.
Yeah.
That's a dumb name. Let's be real here. Everyone knows that's a dumb name. But, like, it's also, at the same time, because that's when they do, like, I'm trying to remember what it's actually called. It's like I don't remember. It has some long name. What his submission is, and every time they say it, they, like, emphasize each part of the word.
Yeah.
Like, that's all he's there for. He's there to say stupid stuff, react to Excalibur, and say Japanese names for things.
Oh, well, Soapy, we have gone quite a bit on this one. Not going to be a two-parter like episode 1. We're about 20 minutes off of that, and I don't know if you want to fill 20 minutes to make this a two-parter. And I say two-parter because we found out that because we host the podcast audio-wise on our website, mostvaluablepodcasts.com. You should check that out down below. We have basically gone ahead and used that to host them, and they have a file limit, and about an hour 50 is where you get right around that minute for an MPC. I almost said NPC, an MP3 for how long it can be. So we'll be under that. But let us know what you guys think down below about the Jade Cargill stuff, about Edge and AEW, and then about the big meat and potatoes about Soapy's fantasy booking. How would you take the title off of MJF? And then after MJF loses the title, who would be the next champion after that? So I want 2 champions from you guys in the comment section. Let us know about all that. Remember, check out our Discord. You can join it for free down below. Join in on the discussions happening in there each and every day with everyone in the MVP universe. Go ahead and check out our Patreon page if you would like to support us. Hit that sub button. Follow us on Spotify and iTunes. Rate us on both. Give us that 5-star MVP rating that we deserve. And MVP podcast or MVP most valuable podcasts.com. I think that's everything. I don't think I missed anything in there. I'm trying to think. I've been out of practice sometimes with these outros, but yeah, Soapy and I will be back in 2 more weeks to talk about more wrestling. Thank you guys for checking it out. For Soapy, thank you, my brother, for being a good tag partner yet again. We crushed it. We brought down the house yet again.
I mean, hey, as long as we keep doing banger shows, I'll keep coming back.
Soapy, as long as I'm entertained, I'll keep coming back. Otherwise, I will not. But
I ain't showing.
That's going to do it for both of us. Thank you guys for everything. And as always, have a good day, everybody.
Bye. I'm not doing the hand wave this time.
As always, we'd like to thank the people that make these videos possible, our patrons whose names are displayed on the screen now. If you would like to become a patron, go ahead and click the Patreon icon in the bottom right. And if you'd like to check out another video from MVP Sports, hit the video in the upper left. As always, thanks for watching.